There is a website out there called AshleyMadison.com that encourages people to cheat on their spouses. Some people believe the site actually helps marriages. We'll see about that. Joining me are Nicole, a woman who uses the site, Noel Biederman, the founder and president of the website, and Logan Levkoff, a sex educator and the author of How to Get Your Wife to Have Sex with You. Now, Noel, you provide this forum for cheaters. First of all, are you married?
I am happily married, yes.
You're happily married. Yeah. You would never use this website.
That's not true. I think I would use it before I would seek a divorce. If I woke up one day in a celibate marriage that I never signed up for, I'm not a priest, I would probably have an affair long before I would leave, too.
Uh-huh. Does Mrs. Biederman have anything to worry then? No.
No, I think ironically, I talk about infidelity more than anybody on the planet, and if anyone should be conscious of how you maybe avoid these pitfalls, it should be me.
Right. Now, Logan, do you what do you think? Do you think that this type of thing could help a marriage? Do you actually believe that?
Absolutely not. I mean, I spend my life, talking about enhancing and improving the emotional and physical sexual health of our population. And I think that sites like this take away from personal accountability and integrity. It shows no respect for your partner. And we should really attempt to get out of a relationship with as much grace and respect as we got into it. And this certainly detracts from that.
So you would recommend divorce if things are really not working, if there's celibacy, as he points out?
Well, I think that first you deal with it and you discuss the problems. We're so afraid of talking about issues, whether we're satisfied or not. But the idea that your kids don't find out and kids want to be in a happy marriage. And if you're not happy, your kids will know it, regardless of whether or not you're having extramarital affairs.
Nicole, did you discuss the problems with your husband before you went on the site?
Absolutely. You can knock your head against a wall the number of times we try to solve the problem, but at the end of the day, people are who they are. And this is why everybody gets divorced, because at the end of the day, we are who we are. People are not going to change. And like Noel said, I didn't sign up for this when I got married. I didn't sign up for a life of being unhappy.
Yeah. I wonder if her husband knew that she was doing this, if it would just snap him out of his lethargy.
But it does do that. That's where infidelity sometimes gets misconstrued. If discovered an affair, and I'm not talking about the day after talking to the couple because emotions are going to run high, but talk to them a year later, maybe even 2 years later, it is that litmus test, if you will. It's the time when they said, we do care about each other. We better change something because this marriage is on a death spiral.
I think she sounds like she's enjoying this more than she would be if she fixed her marriage.
Right,
Am
she's
I wrong,
not interested
Nicole?
in coming forward.
Yeah, you seem to want to stay in this situation rather than, at this point, even try to fix the marriage, right?
No, if my marriage could have been fixed, it would have been fixed a long time ago. We have been in counseling, several different therapists. We have, I mean, I can't even tell you the number of things we've tried. We've done it. We have beaten my head against a wall.
I hear you.
But relationships, I mean, evolve, and sometimes they succeed and sometimes they fail. The key is, if we're unhappy, do we show each other enough respect and treat our relationship as we should and with dignity? And the problem is that's not what this is about. I mean, we have a problem in this country with sexual health. We don't talk, we don't acknowledge, we go behind each other's backs and betray. And that's really criminal. It doesn't serve any of our purposes in the end.
You bring up the word respect, but it sounds like, this one in particular has tried to probably a huge degree. She didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to have an affair. She went to counseling. She saw that the disrespect actually started with her partner neglecting her. So you can't, it's easy to point fingers, but I think there's been disrespect on both parts.
Let me ask Nicole something. Nicole, you realize that even if you worked on your marriage, you're not going to get the sexual high that you seem to be getting from these various affairs that you're having, because there's nothing like a new penny to turn you on rather than the old sock that's at home. So let's be real here. So there is that titillation that you are sort of providing, which there's something about that bothers me.
You make it sound like I have to encourage anybody to behave in this manner, Joy.
Well,
no, because it's in their DNA to behave this way.
It's in their DNA.
Absolutely. We're not meant to be monogamous. Look at couples in open relationships. They have the same stresses around, family economics, dynamics, but their divorce rates are way lower.
But
that's the only thing they remove.
You said you're monogamous.
Because I also grew up in a society,
Joy. DNA?
It's not in my DNA, but I grew up in a society that rewards being married and puts a lot of emphasis on being in monogamous relationships, but there's no proof that somehow romantic love should be exclusionary that way. You wouldn't tell me, I have 2 children, I can only love one of them. That would be a ridiculous notion, but somehow I can only love one woman. That is the notion we tend to tread in society.
That. In an open relationship, there is consent and there's discussion, and partners know what they're doing. This is not that.
That's not the point. The point is open relationships are more successful than monogamous ones in terms of divorce.
Listen, I'm from the 60s and 70s generation, and it was like open marriage is God telling you want a divorce. That's what that was. Because all those
No,
people
but the divorce
who did
rates in
those
America on open marriages are much lower than monogamous
And it depends
couples.
on why they open them up. It depends on why they open them
They
up.
only open them up for one reason, to change sex partners. They don't really open them up for
Do
any
you
other reason.
supply information about STDs on your site?
No, I think I have, in any of my literature, I talk about the same thing, be safe. Be safe in everything. When you meet somebody for the first time, that's why we have
Oh, just
all
for the
tools we
first
do.
time? But we have a sexual health crisis in this country, and chances are married couples are not using protection anymore in their marriages. So you're going to send people out to have sex with other people. The likelihood is they're not going to go back to using condoms
I'm
after
not
all that.
sending anybody out. I'm building a platform where you can say, I'm in a relationship, it's not working for me, and communicate with other people. What happens in the real world, that isn't my role in this. I'm the entrepreneur that's built a site where they can
I
use
see
one
that.
another.
That doesn't make it right.
Let me ask you something about your entrepreneurship and your ads. You had this ad recently. You had an overweight woman standing over in a provocative pose, looking, I don't know, just there she is. Look, I don't know what pose that was.
She's lying on her belly.
She's lying there looking pretty chubby, if I'm putting it mildly. And it says, did your wife scare you last night? Now, what is the point of that? Are you assuming that fat women do not have sex?
Two points. No, that isn't what I was assuming. 2 points. One, any good advertising is provocative in its manner, whether it's for Calvin Klein jeans or whether it's someone trying to advertise fast food.
Why don't you
You're
put a
trying to be
fat
different.
guy up there and say,
I
is your
do.
husband
I do the
scaring
same
you?
thing on the female side. I put people on terrible blind dates. Look at my TV commercial that the Super Bowl refused to run. It showed a really bad blind date, only to realize that that was her husband on their anniversary dinner. Same thing. I'm trying to speak to my constituents who definitely wake up one morning and realize their partner has neglected themselves, doesn't even care about their appearance, those kind of things. That's who I'm trying to talk to, and I think that's perfectly legitimate.
But that's not what that ad is saying.
Absolutely
Go ahead.
No,
it is.
the ad is saying
Absolutely
that looks
it
are
is.
important, that it's women in particular that need to stay thin.
No, that's to the male side. I do the same thing on the female side. You're looking at only
It's
one
just
gender.
as bad on
No,
both
just as
sides.
many
but it's
women.
that looks are important. It's the only thing that matters, and
No,
relationships
taking care of
evolve.
yourself as we talk about it. If you haven't
But
done
how
enough
about
respect,
facilitating a
if you don't have
conversation
enough
where
respect
husbands
for
and wives can
yourself,
discuss it?
Listen, when you love somebody, you forget what they look like. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.